The wolf, a symbol of beauty and strength, represents both the good and the evil. The cruel, the wolf is also one of the gods in Roman mythology, raising the two sons of the god of war, Mars, Romulus, and Remus. The founders of Rome. For 10,000 years, the first animal domesticated by humans was also the wolf. To this day, the wolf remains a friend, but also an enemy to humankind. However, after all this time, there is still much we do not know about this mysterious animal. The common coat colors of wolves are white and gray. However, among them, a few have a very special black coat. The truth is, this is not their natural color. A 2008 study from Stanford University showed that a specific gene that determines black coat color only appears in dogs. Therefore, the black wolf seems to be the result of crossbreeding. The gene for this black coat is dominant, so it is passed down to most offspring. Although the black wolf is not an excellent hunter, it has a better immune system. The black wolf is almost exclusively found in the cold regions of North America. Purebred wolves seem to be quite rare nowadays, while the population of hybrid wolves is thriving due to environmental conditions. Over many years, a significant population has moved eastward, shrinking the wolf's natural habitat, thereby creating many hybrid wolf breeds that now make up a large proportion. Hybrid wolves are generally smaller than purebred wolves and are extremely intelligent. They can adapt to urban or residential areas, partly because hunting in their natural habitats has significantly reduced the number of purebred wolves. Cannibalism is quite common in the world of wolves. Due to living in extremely harsh environments, often cold regions with scarce food sources, and having to compete with many other predators, they are forced to eat injured or sick wolves within their pack. When two wolf packs fight over territory, a fierce clash often occurs, and the losers become prey for the victors. It is a fact that sometimes they are forced to eat their own young. We often see images of wolves looking quite agile and flexible, but there are also wolf species that can weigh up to nearly 100 kilograms. Wolves from tropical regions usually have smaller bodies, comparable to medium-sized dogs, but the further north they are Alaska, Canada, and Russia. The larger they get. The largest wolf ever killed in North America, Alaska, in 1939 weighed nearly 90 kilograms. Usually, these are the alpha wolves, as they are always well fed by the other members of the pack. Unlike many other animals which, when infected with rabies, are often apathetic, disoriented, and lie in one place before the disease fully manifests. Wolves with rabies are extremely dangerous. They seem to go mad almost instantly and can attack any animal around them, even those larger than themselves. Most wolf attacks on humans are also because the wolves have rabies, although this situation has decreased and there is medication to treat cases of bites from rabid animals. Wolves tend to attack and bite the neck and head of their victims, making most cases very dangerous. In normal circumstances, wolves tend to stay away from other animals larger than themselves. In reality, wolves in the Americas are quite gentle and attack humans less often than in other places. There are very few records of wolf attacks on people in the US and Canada, while the opposite is true in Europe and Asia. According to records, over 3,000 people were killed by wolf attacks in France. Between 1600 and 1800, wolves in India and Russia are most famous for their cruelty and ferocity. During World War I, the Allied forces had to struggle to fend off attacks from hungry wolf packs attracted by the smell of blood. It's a rather surprising fact since these two species actually share a common origin. Moreover, they are willing to mate with each other. However, some wolf species consider dogs a favorite prey. Even large-sized dogs that have strayed into wolf territory, all become their delicious meals. A small wolf can easily defeat a large dog thanks to its sharp teeth and deadly bites to the neck area. In Russia, during the period after the collapse of the Soviet Union, they found many carcasses of unfortunate dogs that had become prey for wolves. During the Middle Ages in Europe, the outbreak of the plague killed thousands of people. They often piled up the corpses to prepare for burial or cremation, and naturally, wolves were attracted. During that time, the main food source for wolves was the corpses from the pandemic. Gradually, they became accustomed to the new taste, and humans became a main item on the wolf's menu. Wolf attacks on humans increased at an alarming rate, and from this, stories of werewolves were spread among the credulous and became increasingly popular. Just as in Europe, smallpox in America inadvertently turned the wolf into a fearsome enemy of humans. During this period, wolves frequently attacked human living areas, especially where tribes lived. People afflicted with the disease were helpless and became prey for the wolves. Realizing this easy food source, the wolves became even more ferocious, attacking human settlements and becoming a nightmare for mankind during that time. Whereas normally, wolves tend to hide in separate areas, in forests far from where people live. Wolves can eat anything to survive, even animals that have been dead for a long time. However, in good living conditions, during seasons with plenty of food, wolves are quite picky. They usually prefer large ungulates like deer and elk, and they only eat when the prey is still fresh. If they don't finish the food they've caught, they will leave it without storing it for later. This wolf is gradually evolving into a dog and colonizing all of North America. The wolf is the most successful species in the world and has a wide distribution in the Northern Hemisphere. Usually, when we talk about wolves, we refer to the gray wolf, which are large, dog-like beasts. However, in North America, there is another wolf species that has been even more successful than the gray wolf in terms of distribution and survival. Its habitat has not decreased in the past century, but has instead expanded by 40%. This wolf is the coyote. The coyote can outcompete other predators in the same area and has expanded its habitat by 40% in the last 100 years. To achieve this, the coyote has been fortunate to have three factors on its side. The first is the sharp decline of more powerful predators like the gray wolf, creating an opportunity for the rapid growth of the coyote. The second factor is the rapid pace of urbanization. Other wild animals cannot adapt to human society, but the coyote can coexist with humans. The final factor comes from a large number of pet dogs kept by humans as well as stray dogs. They have interbred with coyotes, providing the coyote with a new gene pool and helping it escape the bottleneck of inbreeding, thus enabling its population to grow rapidly. The coyote is a small to medium-sized wolf species native to North America. Compared to its close relative, the gray wolf, it is much smaller, with an average weight of only 7 to 20 kilograms. According to records, the largest known coyote weighed 34 kilograms. It was a male and was found in Wyoming, USA in 1937. In appearance, the coyote is very similar to the gray wolf, but the coyote's muzzle is more pointed and it has a more cunning look, as well as a slightly fox-like appearance. Due to its wide distribution, the coyote's coat color is often greatly influenced by the environment. For example, the coat color of coyotes living in the desolate western regions is mainly grayish-white, while the coat color of coyotes living in the highlands is largely grayish-brown. As an animal in the dog family, the coyote naturally lives in packs, but it has a more omnivorous diet and rarely hunts large ungulates. Therefore, the size of its packs is much smaller than that of North American gray wolf packs. Most coyote packs are small family groups or just a male and female pair. Meanwhile, coyotes living in cities or suburbs often operate alone. Sometimes, unrelated coyotes can also form a relatively large group. This mainly occurs with solitary coyotes or when hunting large prey. Past experience and rules tell us that the expansion of human activity areas will shrink the habitats of wild animals. And the general rule is as humans advance, animals retreat. But this rule does not hold true for the coyote. In the last 100 years, the coyote's habitat has expanded by 40% and shows signs of continuing to expand. They are even expanding into the South American environment. People can see them frequently on the streets of the United States. They are not afraid of humans, scavenging for leftovers like stray dogs and treating the city environment as their home. Over time, they have also learned the rules of living in the city, knowing how to avoid traffic when crossing the street, nesting in the dark corners of parking lots, and even jumping onto rooftops in New York to find a vantage point. Today, coyotes live in most areas of North America. Before 1900, they only lived in Mexico, the western United States, and a small part of Canada. However, in the following years, the coyote's habitat expanded rapidly, and by 2016, when humans seriously began to study and survey this wolf species, they discovered that coyotes lived in most parts of North America, especially in Central America. Coyotes are present almost everywhere. Over the last century, the human world has developed rapidly, but the process of urbanization has clearly not had a negative impact on the coyote. It has even opened up a new world for them, because a large part of the 40% of the area where they have expanded their habitat are cities and suburbs. The rapid growth of the coyote has also had a significant impact on human life. After all, it is still a fierce predator. Although there have been very few incidents of harm to humans, many people believe they pose a threat to children and domestic cats and dogs. Therefore, in many places, they have been hunted to eliminate this potential danger, especially after the 19th century. Hunting methods have been continuously upgraded, from primitive hunting and trapping to helicopter hunting as it is today. The United States kills 400,000 coyotes each year. But this still cannot hinder the growth of the coyote population. Why can coyotes develop so rapidly? There are many reasons. First of all, although North America has no tigers and leopards, there are other similar beasts, such as mountain lions or pumas and gray wolves. In the habitat of the North American wolf, coyotes and pumas compete for prey. The competition between species is fierce, and the coyote is often the weaker party. However, compared to pumas, the gray wolf is the main predator of coyotes. The coyote is too similar to the gray wolf in every aspect, and its food preferences are also more similar to the gray wolf's than the pumas. Therefore, according to scientific research, the number of coyotes in areas where gray wolves are found will be about 30% less than in areas without gray wolves. Coincidentally, in the 19th century, due to the impact of human activities, the gray wolf's habitat was severely destroyed, causing its numbers to decline significantly in North America. At that time, there were very few gray wolves. By the 20th century, the gray wolf had disappeared from most areas, and the absence of its rival opened up a golden age for the development of the coyote. In addition, after entering the 20th century, humans paid more attention to animal protection and environmental protection. Many wild animal species also began to thrive. For example, in the suburbs of some states in the U.S., the deer population has exploded, and these factors also provided favorable conditions for the development of the coyote. Previously, coyote fur was an important material for trade. But after the second half of the 20th century, many regulations related to animal protection were enacted, and the North American fur trade market collapsed, causing the trade in coyotes to decline sharply, and the coyote population had even more conditions to thrive. Besides these external favorable factors, the reason why the coyote can develop as it has today is also related to its own abilities. Most fierce predators are carnivorous, but the coyote seems to be an exception. It is an omnivore and is like a domestic dog. It eats almost everything it can. In the city, they rummage through trash cans, scavenging for leftovers, whether it's fruit peels, bones, rice, noodles, or even chili or kumquats. The coyote can eat it, and it is never picky. The coyote can quickly adapt to urban life. In addition to its strong survival ability, another important factor related to it is that it is not reproductively isolated from the gray wolf and the dog. After interbreeding with gray wolves and domestic dogs, the introduction of new genes has enriched the genetic diversity of the coyote and avoided the troubles of inbreeding. Humans have also actively hunted and killed coyotes, but why can their populations still grow so rapidly? The main reason is that this species is evolving to become closer to and has become a relative of the domestic dog. In fact, they are two very similar animal species. When in an area where coyotes are almost hunted out by people, according to past rules, any population would grow slowly, and even due to the effects of inbreeding, the numbers would gradually decline. However, with the presence of pet dogs and stray dogs, the coyote does not have to worry about this, and the population can still grow rapidly. Mating with gray wolves, and especially domestic dogs, not only allows the coyote to easily overcome the bottleneck of inbreeding, but also significantly enhances its ability to adapt to human society. Many wild animals like the snow leopard, maned wolf, and Himalayan rabbit will face many problems when they are kept in captivity. They are susceptible to diseases such as tuberculosis, pneumonia, and enteritis after being kept in captivity. However, the coyote not only does not get sick after entering the city, but on the contrary, it is healthier and lives longer.